Thank you, everybody. How about one more time for Kevin and Mike and Nicole? Let them hear it. I think I got everybody on. It's good to be back here in Ann Arbor. I went through something weird recently. I was almost the victim of identity theft. Not because I've been killing it so hard, someone tried to steal my life or anything. I got this email from my bank asking me if I had approved a $27 wire transfer to the Caribbean. I hadn't done that, so I got it stopped, but I felt really violated. Like someone out there had stolen my credit card number, and all they tried to do was take $27. They could have hit me for a couple grand. They didn't put the effort in. It's like, what do they need with just $27 of my money in the Caribbean anyway? They gonna buy a UB40 set with that? Plantains? I didn't know. But I had to go through this terrible process, checking everything I bought at the bank. They want to make sure it's all, legitimate purchases. And that got pretty embarrassing pretty quick. So they're like, all right, I see $6.25 at Arby's. Was that you? I'm like, yeah, that was me. They're like, okay, what about $19 at the comic store? Was that you? I'm like, yeah, that was me. They're like, okay, Mr. Sievert, here's a charge we're not sure about. It's another charge on the same day at Arby's. Yeah, that was me. Yeah, that was Wednesday. I went twice. They're like, all right, well, let's look at the next day. I see a charge at Taco Bell. Like, you know that was me. There's a pattern emerging here. After that was over, I wanted to get my credit cards under control because I have credit card debt. But I don't see that as a bad thing. It's not me being irresponsible. It's me placing a bet on myself and saying let it ride. You know? It's month after month, I'll let that ride. Some people tell me that's a bad way to do it. Some credit cards charge you 19% interest. Yeah, I guess that's true. But that's still 81% living the dream. That math checks out. That's a solid B-. Take that any day. In my 40s now, so I'm trying to take better care of myself. I went to the eye doctor recently. At the end of my exam, he was filling out his chart, and he was so here's your new prescription. You don't need bifocals, but you will in this decade. It's this decade? That's the most vague diagnosis I've ever gotten. That guy went to med school, still gave himself a good 10-year window. Or my eyes gonna totally shit the bed. I wanted to prove him wrong, because, a lot can happen in this decade. I could get LASIK or, die. Well, see who's right in the end. So I was all right, I gotta, start training my eyes, get them stronger, I'm gonna train them so hard and be like the Rocky of looking, Rocky went into the meat locker, he pounded on those slabs of meat. I'm just gonna stare at them, get my eyes primed, So maybe me finding out I'm gonna need bifocals someday isn't bad news. Maybe that's just when they cut Michael Jordan from his high school basketball team. I need to start using my eyes to their full potential. I'm gonna take up bird watching or some shit. You'll see me outside with no glasses. Hey, did you get contacts? No, I'm training. There's no off season in bird watching. Been going to a lot of doctors recently because don't do this, folks. I took 7 years off from going to the doctor, and that's a tactical error. If you do that, for no good reason, I'll add. I had health insurance, just didn't go, No good reason. They make you do all kinds of tests. Recently, I had to do a sleep study because they were worried I might have sleep apnea. which if you're not afflicted, that's when you stop breathing while you're asleep. That's bad. That was like news to me. I thought I was just being efficient. Like one of those new cars that shuts off at a red light. Like, you know, the motor doesn't need to run right now. That's it. So they didn't see it that way, so I had to do a sleep study. I did my sleep study, I finally got my results, and the doctor was like, yeah, you should wear a CPAP, it's gonna help you out. I've been using it for about a month, and I like it, but at first I was bummed out, you know? It wasn't something I ever thought I was gonna have to deal with. Like, basically, I'm just like 2 years away from sleeping in the tank Darth Vader chills out in, like... I know it's called the back tank. I don't get any shit from Star Wars fans tonight. That joke is for the normies, too, you know? But I was like a little, you know, I wasn't sure how I felt. I was complaining about it in a group chat with some friends of mine, and they were like, why are you so upset, Pat? And I was like, well, you know, I'm a single guy, dating a little bit. What if somebody sleeps over? They're going to see me strap that CPAP to my face so I don't die next to them. Like... My friend Robert was like, Pat, don't worry. What you gotta do is fuck them so good they don't even notice. He's like, well, that's a lot of pressure. I don't know if I have ignore a life-saving apparatus dick. Like... It's not something I thought I was going to have to learn in my 40s, you know? When I'm not doing comedy, I like going to see movies. It's a big hobby for me. A couple years ago, I saw a really good movie. I saw the movie It Chapter 2. Normally, I don't like horror movies, but I like that one. I wanted to learn more about it. It's like reading articles. There were a lot of people complaining about that movie when it came out because they said the character Pennywise the Clown, he fat shames a character, and he's racist and he's homophobic. It's like, the demon clown that eats kids is not an ally? Like, I don't think anybody should be racist or homophobic, but if Pennywise is real, he'd be the one person I would give a pass to. Because, like, he's still got to eat people. The alternative is he's nice about it. Like, just imagine I've been captured by suddenly nice Pennywise. He's got me in his lair in the sewer. He's about to eat me. Before he does, like, you know, Pat, you're handsome in your own way. Like, just get this over with. Just tell me we all float down here. That's what we all came here for. One of my favorite movies doesn't get enough attention these days. It's a really good one. I love The Purge. All the Purge movies are great. Yeah, a couple people, yeah. If you haven't seen them, you should check them out. They're really good. The basic plot is one day a year for 12 hours, all crime, including murder, is legal. And some people are on board. You could do whatever you want. Wouldn't that be great? You know, all I tell them is I do what I want now. Like, every day is Purge Day for me. Like, I go to the grocery store, ring up $14 at self-checkout. Nobody stops me. If the Purge was real and I had to celebrate, I know what I would do. I would build a deck. Yeah, like, I wouldn't get a permit. I got 12 hours. Let's build this deck. Like, that's just smart. Some people are gonna be out there killing folks. I just making my house better. That's a good use of my purge time. Now, the next day, I'd be hanging out on my splintery, uneven deck. The building inspector would come by. I'd be like, this deck's not up to code. It's up to purge code. Like, yeah, but you must have made plans. You bought lumber. I'll be like, true, but there's no law against going to Lowe's. Get off my purge deck. So if you got a real problem with this, come back here in a year. Ripping tags off mattresses. Gotta celebrate this purge. A couple years ago, I adopted a cat. But that's like a fancy way of explaining what happened. Like, a friend of mine found a stray cat on the street, and I was like, well, that belongs in my house. So I took the cat in. I was getting used to having him. I took him to the vet for a checkup. At the end of the checkup, the vet asked if I had any questions. And the only question I had, I didn't know how to tell if it was a male cat or a female cat. And the vet said, I've never been very good at figuring that out either. It's like, that does not give me a ton of confidence. Like, I figure that's something they taught you on, like, day 2, maybe. Like, it might not be day 1, Chip, but probably first week. He was like, no, I got to get the other vet to do it. So the other vet came in, looked at my cat for like 2 seconds. Yeah, this is a male cat. Here's how you tell. And it made me feel real dumb. But now I don't feel that bad. The only reason I figured that on my own is if I Googled it. I did not want to do that. It's going to fuck up my whole algorithm. Like, I'd be watching a good YouTube, they're like, up next, top 36 cat crotches. Look, that was one time. Elon Musk is in the news a lot lately. I don't like that guy very much, but I have to give him credit for one thing. Like, a couple years ago, he had a kid. He gave the kid a really weird name. Named him XAIA12. It's like everybody was making fun of him because that name sucks, which, that's fair. But if you think about it, every name was weird at some point. Like, I just imagine, like, way back in history, people like, did you hear what Jehoshaphat named his kid? Fucking Gregory, I don't know. A couple years ago, I bought a house, and that was a big step in my life because it was in my late 30s. I finally had a place of my own. I was really excited. I was really excited because I had to save up some money for a down payment. I lived with my parents for a couple years, which I was never very public about because it made laughter die down, like, immediately. Like, we'd all be laughing about the top 36 cat crotches, and suddenly, so we'd be like, wait, that guy lives in his childhood bedroom. It's like, well, hold on, it's my brother's childhood bedroom. My room's a sewing room now. It's not like living with my parents again in my 30s was terrible, because I got along with them, that was fine. Social life kind of took a hit. Like, I couldn't meet someone, hit it up, and hey, do you want to come back to my place? And if she was like, yeah, okay, well, make sure it's cool with your mom, too. And then the people who owned my house before me left behind a couple things I don't know how I feel about. They were big fans of lighthouses, so they left behind this big wooden lighthouse in my backyard, and then one room that's just decked out in lighthouse wallpaper, and it's not even an elaborate one, it's just 4 lighthouses repeated in a pattern. I think that's just like the bare minimum, like, this is your favorite shit ever, but just these 4, that's all we need. But now I don't know if I need to get rid of that wallpaper or just lean into becoming a lighthouse guy. Like, I've been a lot of weird shit in my life. I've never been a lighthouse guy. Like, I don't even know where to start. Do it! Guess, like, step 1, learn about lighthouses. As I, like, get more into it, I'll invest some good, like, rain gear and an old-timey lantern. I'll walk around all hunched over like, I gotta light the beacon. Let's bring those sailors home. My friends will like try to relate to me on it, but they won't get it. They're like, so you like lighthouses now? So what, you like that song, The Wreck of the Fitzgerald? Be like, no! That song's about a shipwreck. That's the opposite of my shit. You come correct in the lighthouse room. I like how every time I tell that joke here, someone's like, do it! Be a lighthouse guy. I performed across the street from a place called the Lighthouse Cafe last week. It was out of business. I was too late, you know? That's my place. Go to Port Huron. Get her to bring it back. I was reading an article recently. The Doritos company was trying to make a new kind of Doritos targeted at women. And the only difference is they're going to be like less crunchy than regular Doritos. I didn't know there was a gender gap in chips. Like taking a big risk right now. Might be cutting out like half the crowd. He's going to talk about chips. That's some dude shit. I'm not going to listen to this guy. The CEO of that company is a woman. She said they had to make them because women don't buy enough Doritos because they are too loud. Like, women don't want to eat loud food, I guess. I don't know if that's just her shit and she's projecting that. Like, she goes home after a long day of CEO and says, I don't eat loud food, I just eat soup. Like, and no crackers, you get the fuck out of here with those. Like, maybe I'll eat a salad if my husband chews up the croutons first. This might be an unpopular opinion, but it's a hill I'm willing to die on. I think the best part of Doritos is that they're crunchy. Yeah, like if they're not crunchy, what the fuck are we even doing here? Supposed to eat Cool Ranch napkins now? Not on my watch. Sometimes you'll find out, like, products we've had our whole lives have messed up origin stories. Like, I always thought cornflakes was a pretty innocent product, but turns out I was way wrong about that. Like, if you don't know the history, John Kellogg invented cornflakes. Now, in addition to being a cereal genius, he was also a religious nut job. Like, he thought masturbation was the root of all evil. Now, quick sidebar, I think masturbation stops a lot of evil. Because you're not going to go on a rampage in the afterglow. History has proven him wrong. But he wanted to invent a new diet that made people not crank it so much, so he invented cornflakes. Like, he made them extra bland. He thought people would eat them like, well, nothing gives me joy anymore. Read the Bible and turn in early. Thanks, cornflakes. Thought he had it all figured out, but then his younger brother, Will Kellogg, stole the recipe for cornflakes, and he added sugar to it. It's cornflakes we know and love. Like, he sold it. He made millions of dollars. You know, he rubbed that in his brother's face. He's like, yeah, bro, my cereals will be so good, everybody's going to be jacking it. And that's how we got Frosted Flakes. I always got a debate if I add that last part. I told that joke in Battle Creek last year and it worked, so that's like all the proof I needed, you know? I gotta get out of here, you guys, but I'm gonna end on this, so I'll tell one more. I don't know about anybody else out there, but anytime I meet a really old man, I'm always super nice to them. Like, not because it's the right thing to do, because I don't know if they are me from the future with a warning. Like, I don't know if that's possible, but if you could go back in time and, like, warn your younger self, I think we'd all do that for some things. It would probably get annoying after a while. Like, your future self would come back too much. Be like, come on, that is 6 times this week. I'm trying to live our life here. But, like, sometimes you'd have to listen. They came back like an eye patch or, like, a missing hand. You're like, guess I better listen to this me. Probably shouldn't build that purge deck. All right, thank you very much. My name's Pat Sievert. Enjoy the rest of the show.